It finally happened. We've been waiting for this to happen for a long time. For about what, 4, 5, 6 years? I don't even know,
Years.
but yeah. Ever since the inception of AEW, this man, well, he needed some break, man. But CM Punk happened, this happened, that happened, and every single time this man was about to go on a holiday, just relax. He had to answer the curtain call and work and work and work and work. But finally, Jon Moxley has been given time off by AEW and has not been backstage at AEW TV since the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Kenny Baum, let's start with you first. How do you feel about these beautiful news?
Well, my boy Kato, I am absolutely shocked that this man has been gone because, for one, I didn't notice he was gone. But for two, he has been pretty much on TV every week, not only in AEW. When he was in WWE, he was the guy who didn't take breaks. He was just on the road, on go the whole time. I think his longest vacation or time off, and it wasn't even that long, was when his WWE contract expired. From that day up until when he debuted at Double or Nothing. So, it's good to see. Glad the man is getting a break because the last break he had, unfortunately, he was going to rehab. So hopefully everything is still going good with him this time and it's not anything like that going on. But I mean, he definitely deserves it, and I think this is good for him because we see him too much. Much like Brian says with Seth Rollins, I agree. Some of these guys just got to go away sometimes because the gimmicks get stale and we really just don't appreciate them as much as we should. So I'm hoping he's going for a few months and he's just not going for a few weeks, because if he's going for a few months and he gives us time to miss him, then when he comes back, it's going to mean so much more. So I think this is good for Big Mox. I think it's good for Renee Young. Let that family just go ahead and relax for a minute.
Agreed, man. When he was having that crazy run, don't think about just AEW. It's going in there to New Japan Wrestling, doing double duty. He's going in there, MLW, any kind of wrestling promotion you can think about. Moxley was somehow doing it. Now, obviously, he wasn't having these, Will Ospreay-esque matches where he's doing, 670 moves and crazy flips and huge bumps, but he was still doing some hardcore stuff.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you, those are easier on your body.
Oh, the hardcore stuff is easier?
Yeah, like if you're not taking legit chair shots, if it's just scars, like a lot of hardcore wrestlers say this themselves, if it's just little scars, this and that, it's okay. It's much better than throwing your entire body to the floor, taking a flat back bump. That does a lot more damage, especially as you get older. So still though, like Jon Moxley, the level he did this thing at, to be able to do it this long without taking an actual break, because the what do you call it, the alcohol thing, the break you took for that to come back from that, I don't think that counts. This one where he's like literally just, oh my god, I can just clear my head, not think about wrestling, just relax for a second. I think it's very important. You burn out. Whatever you do, every human at the end of the day, no matter how passionate they are about whatever they're doing, you're going to get burned out. So this is a huge step. I agree. Hopefully he comes back. And I do think he's going to come back looking like hopefully like AJ Styles, Randy Orton, where he's going to change his diet up a little bit and go crazy alligator mode. Hope that's my biggest.
All alligator edition.
Yeah, I would love that.
Man, I mean, he's been going crazy. I remember I keep seeing these things where he had like these straws stuck in his head.
Yeah.
Yo, you got to relax, bro. But Brian, I know Moxley is your favorite wrestler. Definitely better than Seth Rollins. Definitely better than Roman Reigns. How do you feel about this break?
I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, personally, I think it's one of those things where it's like, finally, they finally got a vacation, because every time, like Hero said, anytime they needed him, he was there. So I think that honestly, it's perfect time for him to go. I mean, you got all these stars now. You got Swerve, Bryan Danielson, Hangman carrying a lot of the load, the Elite. I mean, you got a lot of that stuff going on. So personally, I think it was the perfect time. I think that when he comes back, hopefully he comes back with, some a little different. And I hope he takes his time to come back and it doesn't happen like Seth.
Yeah, but I will say this. You're right. There's a lot of stars in the background that can kind of pick up that workload, but I think that Blood and Guts match, like Team AEW, was definitely missing a guy like Jon Moxley. Because we had the Acclaim. Yikes! I just don't. I don't think. Shout out to Mark Briscoe, but the team just wasn't strong enough to represent AEW. You had Swerve Strickland. I think he needed a stronger supporting cast behind him, because the fact that you kind of had Swerve Strickland and, I hate to say it, but the jobbers behind him kind of took me out of the match. I'm like, I really don't care about any of these guys in this match except Jack Perry and Swerve Strickland. So it was kind of hard to get invested.
No, here's the thing. Actually, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but like we need to miss Jon Moxley a little bit because he's a big deal. Even after everything, all the matches he wrestled, which let's be honest, kind of lowers his value because the more you see of the guy, the less you're gonna miss him. A lot of people were still like, I'm sure I'm gonna get cooked in the comments. Like every time I slightly criticize this man, I get cooked in the comments. Like they love him. They want to see him in AEW. And WWE fans, they want to see him return to WWE and do stuff there. Like he still has so much capital in the wrestling business when it comes to with that connection with the fans. So like him going away not only does good for its mental and physical health, but for us to be able to miss him as well. I think WWE kind of had a big moment with Seth Rollins. If he went away for a good long while and came back, like that would have been great for him. AEW now has that same chance as well. I hope they don't do the same thing WWE did and return him 2 months later. Give us some time because when this man returns, like it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a big deal. I like the fact that we didn't even notice he was gone. Like this is good. Now we're noticing it. I feel like it's gonna have the Roman Reigns effect because like look at Roman Reigns. If he came back a week later or a month later after WrestleMania, I mean, he would have still gotten a good reaction, but the amount of reaction he's gonna get when he actually comes back, it's you can't even compare it. Exactly.
It's one of those. It's one of those things where, like, he's one of those wrestlers that we've seen for so long and so consistent that it's like, all right, bro, like I'm kind of tired of seeing you. Like it sucks to think that way as a person, but that it's like a TV show, bro. You keep seeing the same thing, you're gonna be like, man, like, can we get this person off the screen? And that's how it started to feel, at least for me, for a bit. Nonetheless, great wrestler, but for a while I'm like, man, come on.
Yeah, we need that time to just get him out of here, and like that way we can look at what he did in the past and kind of just look at his whole career, and that's when you start to say like, oh my god, this guy's been going for this long, doing all these things, and you realize how much he's done and how much he's been a part of. That's when the respect comes in, I think. So like this absolutely works. I don't have like at the level that Jon Moxley's at, he's not missing anything. Nobody's taking his spot. So I think this is much needed. This is perfect for him. And I'm actually very excited. I've been telling you guys, the BBC stuff, that's what I don't care about. Jon Moxley,
the same thing.
going, bleeding every single match, doing crazy, middle fingers and sticking his tongue out. Like, that's also what I don't care about. Like, I just doesn't appeal to me. But now that it's stopped, now that we don't get that all the time, when he comes back, at least at the, first little while, I will definitely be checking whatever Jon Moxley is doing. So, it's good.
So, I do want to say, when he does come back, whenever that is, I do want to see him separate himself from the BBC, and he needs to get in there and do his own thing. I want to see him. He can still keep like the unhinged character, but I think he needs to do it on his own and kind of like resubmit himself as Jon Moxley. I'm Jon Moxley. I'm here. I am a championship contender, a world championship contender, and I'm coming to get it. And he needs to go full baldy too. So
full baldy.
That's true.